Two-time major winner Dustin Johnson says he has resigned his PGA Tour membership to participate in the new golf series backed by Saudi Arabia. Johnson bypassed this week's RBC Canadian Open to play in the LIV event, and he will be joined by Phil Mickelson as well as Sergio Garcia and 3 other former major champions at the event outside of London. All right, so for more for the shakeup in the golf world right now, we're joined by Mark Zecchino, host of TSN's Golf Talk Canada. Mark, how significant is this that we now have a rival tour to the PGA, not the European Tour, but this LIV Tour, and the caliber of players that are moving over there?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, Dustin Johnson is a huge name and still someone who's very relevant in terms of being able to win at the highest level. For many of these players that have jumped the ship, with all due respect to Phil Mickelson, they're on the downside of their career. So their name has equity in things they've done in the golf world 10, 15 years ago, not things they're about to do or have done recently, with maybe the exception of Phil's big PGA championship victory. But I think the story here is not so much about a rival golf league, but of where this money is coming from and sports washing. And are these players now puppets for a much bigger picture? And it's a real shame that this is all kind of breaking out the last week on the Women's US Open, where we were supposed to be celebrating the biggest championship of women's golf, and now this week with the RBC Canadian Open. But it's a story that just can't be ignored. Right. And the big controversy, of course, is that, the Saudi Arabian government is involved through the Public Investment Fund. And we know that there's some corruption tied to the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. But what are the players saying, particularly Phil Mickelson, about why they are joining this new golf series? Well, what they're actually saying is that they're in this for the game of golf and growing the game of golf and doing what they think is right for the players. Many of them are not even acknowledging the human rights violations. Some of them are casually acknowledging them, not supporting them, but kind of stepping past them. And, from my own opinion and a lot of the opinion of the golf community, especially here in Canada, this has really becomes a question of, what's your price? What is your price to, put aside what your own moral compass and values are? And for some of these players, it's as high as $200 million, if you believe the numbers that are reported for Phil Mickelson. And yesterday it came out from Greg Norman, who is the face of this new golf league, the CEO. He suggested that Tiger Woods turned down an offer close to $1 billion because this just doesn't fit Tiger's moral landscape. So, I mean, the money that was being tossed around is outrageous, but you cannot deny the human rights violations that are going on, with obviously the Public Investment Fund that's funding all this. Those are eye-popping numbers, Mark. Wish we had more time to get into this. But of course, we've got the RBC Open happening this week right here in Toronto. We'll be watching for that indeed. But listen, thanks for your time this afternoon. Mark Zecchino, host of TSN's Golf Talk Canada. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Okay.